Hey guys, today we are looking at two very popular backcountry skiing and snowboarding jackets by Arcteryx. The Arcteryx Saber LT versus the Arcteryx Rush IS. That's next. Welcome to Backcountry Renegade. I'm Jeff. Today we are looking at two very popular jackets for backcountry skiing and snowboarding, and we have the Sabre LT versus the Rush IS. Both these jackets are pretty popular. The Rush IS actually has a built-in insulation, where the Sabre LT is a longtime favorite. It's a 3-layer Gore-Tex that is mainly just a shell. Both these jackets are very practical for backcountry touring and skiing and snowboarding. So let's take a look in more detail at these jackets and see what's the better jacket for you. The Sabre LT is a 3-layer Gore-Tex shell for backcountry skiing and snowboarding. It is a highly versatile big mountain jacket built with great weather protection. The LT in the name stands for lightweight. So it's real lightweight and able to compress down nicely. It does run a tad longer and it helps to keep the snow out. It has a great balance of durability and lightweightness. It has great all-weather protection for all parts of the mountain. This is strictly a shell, so there's no integrated insulation. It is a relaxed fit, so it is something that allows you to have multiple layers on underneath in order to stay warm. This is the 2018 version. It comes in multiple sizes and colors. The newer 2020 models have slight variations in the color pattern. This one here sells for $649 new. It is in the Golden Mind color. Now, it is currently available in the Arcteryx outlet for $487 if you can find it there. The Rush IS is a new variation of the popular Rush ski jacket. It has lightweight insulation that is integrated in it. The IS in the name stands for insulation. The insulation that it does use is called Octaloft insulation. So this is a great addition to the Gore-Tex waterproof shell, as well as giving a breathable insulation to keep you warm in the backcountry when you're skiing or snowboarding. It comes in multiple sizes and colors as well. This one here is the 2019 version, and this is the Achilles blue color. It retails new for $799, but currently this color is available on the Arcteryx outlet website, and you can find it for 25% off for $599. This can be used also in the backcountry while you're constantly on the move. It does a good job of also allowing the hot air to breathe out of the jacket. Now, it is something you can also use inbounds at the ski resort. This is a nice option if you want a little extra warmth, but you also don't have to carry any additional mid layers underneath. Looking at these two jackets, there are a lot of similarities. First, considering some of these, both these jackets are made by Arcteryx. Both these jackets are made for backcountry skiing or snowboarding. Both these jackets are relatively lightweight, and both these jackets are extremely weather resistant and made of Gore-Tex material shell. Both are also fully seamed, which adds a nice dose of assurance to those really harsh mountain environments. Both these jackets come with a Rico reflector on the back left side shoulder area, which is a reflector that it doesn't have a battery that actually emits a signal if you ever happen to be covered in an avalanche. And both these jackets also have snow skirts, and they can be integrated with Arcteryx pants. Now let's consider some of the differences. First, considering the shell fabric. The Sabre LT is a highly flexible but strong nylon 80 denier 3-layer Gore-Tex shell. The fabric is a longer cut to allow you to be a really good snow and windproof and keep the weather out and all types of terrain. Now, the Rush IX is a 2-layer Gore-Tex face fabric. Now, this is 70 denier shell. It still does an excellent job of cutting out the harsh winds and cold environments. Both these jackets also have DWR finish, which helps the moisture bead on and roll off rather than soaking into the jacket. Now, talking about durability, the Sabre LT, as we said, is an 80 denier 3 layers of Gore-Tex, and it's highly durable. It's highly abrasion resistant, so that's a really cool thing. And the Rush IS, though, the 2 layers of 70 denier, is also highly tear and abrasion resistance, but you are going to have a little less durability when you're having 2 layers as opposed to the 3 layers in the Sabre LT. basically, these are very extremely weatherproof jackets. Now let's consider insulation. The Sabre LT is strictly a shell. It does not have any insulation. Now it does have a nice liner inside that is called a C-net that is really nice and comfortable against the skin and is a little bit more breathable than the typical Sabre AR version. So it is a nice feature there with the Sabre LT. Now the Rush IS actually has what we call Octaloft insulation. This is a breathable, thin insulation that helps provide a little extra warmth. This is the same kind of material that you find in the Proton FL, which is extremely breathable jacket. And so it's pretty neat because this jacket is like a Gore-Tex shell with a Proton FL mid layer. So it's a 2-in-1. So pretty nice with that. The insulation is soft on the skin. It's also moisture wicking as well. So if you sweat underneath, it's not going to beat up and wet your jacket from the inside. The Octaloft insulation also has a layer that's a little bit separate from the Gore-Tex shell, where the Gore-Tex here is the 3 layers that are all laminated together in one piece. Here you have the 2 layers of Gore-Tex, and then the shell is slightly sewed in, and it's loose, which provides extra breathability and is really good there. Now, I didn't notice any kind of difficulty or any kind of wear from that. I've had it for over a year in that and had no issues with that layer there. Now let's talk about the weight. The Sabre LT weighs 630 grams or 1 pound, 6.2 ounces. The Rush IS is 720 grams or 1 pound, 9.4 ounces. The Rush IS is the lightest insulated jacket offered by Arcteryx. It undercuts the Mackay, which is 2 pounds, 4 ounces, and the Fission SV, which is 1 pound, 15.4 ounces. So the lightest insulated jacket as well. So pretty neat. Let's talk about breathability. The Sabre LT is somewhat breathable, but due to the 3 layers of the Gore-Tex, it's really not great. I was more likely having to open up the air pits underneath the arms to allow hot air to release when I was doing that. Now, the Rush IS, the 2 layers of Gore-Tex combined with the super breathable Octaloft insulation really helped the breathability of this jacket. I could tell by putting it on, it was more breathable. It does a better job of also wicking the moisture and vapor, allowing it to escape. So you can regulate the inner temperature of your jacket a whole lot easier, in my opinion. If breathability is the most important thing, in my opinion, the Rush IS is going to be more breathable, especially if you have to use mid layers with the Sabre LT. Speaking of warmth, since the Sabre LT does not have an insulation or anything like that, it just basically blocks the cold wind and the cold air and snow. It's meant for you to have layers underneath. So by itself, it's not a very warm jacket. Now the Rush IS, on the other hand, is warmer than the Sabre LT because of that Octaloft insulation inside. It's thin and it's not bulky to wear. It still also allows room to have an additional mid layer if you'd like. The Rush IS does a good job of keeping in the warmth and without causing you to overheat. Anything that's above freezing temperature, I tended to be a little bit warm, but it wasn't overbearing. But anything 32 and below, this was a joy to wear. And the nice thing is I didn't have to pack an additional mid layer. Let's talk about the zippers. Both these kind of have the traditional zippers here where you can just go up. It doesn't have those speed bumps at the top like you do some of the other Arcteryx jackets, but the zipper is free flowing, meaning you can just open it like that and it will gradually open. Now this is meant if you do wear a harness or a backpack or something, you experience some tension, it's not going to break the zipper. So pretty neat for that. The zippers are watertight, so they also are sealed and they won't accumulate snow in between. Let's talk about the vents. Under the arms of these jackets, you do have these vents. Now they have 2 zippers on each side. For the Sabre LT, the vents just open directly into the jacket. So just something to keep in mind. If you open it, it can release air very easily and very quick. But if you fall and snow gets in there, it's going to get all inside your jacket and inside your mid layers as well. Now compare that to the Rush IS. The Rush IS also has this
these slots here and 2 zippers. And it also has mesh in between, and this is to prevent snow from getting in and getting in between the Gore-Tex and the insulation. So this does a really nice job. I actually prefer this. Gives me a little extra sense of security, and I don't have to worry about getting snow inside my jacket if I have the pit zips open like that to release air. So pretty neat feature with that. Let's talk about the pockets. The Sabre LT has 2 external pockets here. They are seam sealed as well. You can see the same thing with the Rush IS. It also has seam sealed pockets. Now these pockets are raised slightly higher to allow you to have a harness underneath and not interfere with the pockets. So if you're ever doing some backcountry skiing or need to go over a glacier or something, you can have the harness and it's not going to interfere with the pockets. Now looking at the pockets for the Sabre LT, you do have this material and you do have some of the C-net inner liner inside. Now it doesn't really provide any warmth in the pockets. The cool thing about the Rush IS is it has that Octaloft insulation inside to give you a little extra warmth. Especially it's nice if you put your hands in your pocket and you don't have gloves on. So it gives you a little extra warmth with that. Now looking at the chest pocket, the Sabre LT does have a outer chest pocket here, which you can store cards and keys and stuff or a phone. And again, it does have that C-net liner inside, which is a nice feel, but it doesn't really provide any warmth. Now, as you see with the Rush IS, the outer pocket, there is none actually. The pocket is on the inside here. You have an inter pocket here in the chest, and it's underneath the insulation. So this will actually keep things warm. So if you have GoPro batteries, things like that you want to keep warm, you can put them in there. Now the only downside is you have to open up your jacket to get to it, but not a big deal if you choose to use it to keep things warm. So just something to keep in mind with that. Another thing you want to look at is on the left sleeve, you have this little pocket here as well. This is designed to secure your RFID ski pass. You do have the same thing on the Rush IS as well. So you can put your RFID ski pass in here and get that. Now, if you feel right over here, right next to the ski pass, you feel kind of a little piece of maybe fabric or foamy things. And you have the same thing on the Sabre LT. This is actually the recoat reflector. So that's where it is. It's very lightweight, hardly noticeable as well. Now let's talk about the cuffs. Both these cuffs have Velcro on it, which allow you to open up the sleeves. If you want to open it wide and put your sleeves over your glove, you can do that. Then you can tighten it down to make sure any weather doesn't get through and you keep the warm air in. And the same thing with the Rush IS. The only downside about this Velcro that I noticed, and it's really on both of these, is when you fall into powder snow, it can accumulate in the Velcro and can make it hard to attach as well. So just something to keep in mind. Not the greatest there, but you can get great adjustment with your with the wrist and everything to have that there. So something to keep in mind, just as long as you keep it unclogged with snow. Let's look at the hood. The Sabre LT and the Rush IS pretty much have a very similar hood. This is called the Storm hood here, and it is helmet compatible. So this can go over a helmet. While you're wearing it, it does provide enough articulation to move with your head as you turn your head. You can cinch it down from the front and in the back. Now the Rush IS has a little bit more features here. You can cinch it down from the front as well and the back, but you have an additional pull here in the back for a little extra versatility, where you only have one here for the Sabre LT. So something just to keep in mind with that. Now both these hoods do not have any insulation in them. They're strictly a weatherproof hood. The brims have a little bit more structure to it as well here. So a pretty nice hood and not too bulky as well. Speaking of compression, these jackets are pretty compressible considering what they are. The Sabre LT is going to be the more compressible jacket just because it does not have any insulation in it. Now compare that to the Rush IS. The Rush IS still, in my opinion, compresses down pretty nicely, but as you can see, it's not going to compress as small as the Sabre LT, mainly because you have that extra layer of insulation. The nice thing is if you go off the Rush IS, you don't have to worry about taking an additional mid layer to have, so it does save you weight and space in that regard as well. Talking about the fit, the Sabre LT is fitting a bit long. It helps to give extra protection to keep the weather out, just a little extra length there on the back end. The sleeves are also pretty long, but it's meant to go over your gloves. Same thing with the Rush IS. It just gives you a little bit more articulated sleeves so you can go over your gloves, raise your arms, and still have plenty of sleeve there. It has a relaxed fit to allow you to fit layers underneath. Now, the Sabre LT, for me, it was just a bit too long. As I was walking, I could feel the brim of the bottom hitting my thighs, and for me, I'm a shorter guy, so this was a little bit long for me. The Rush IS actually felt perfect as far as the fit, and I enjoyed the length of that it was a bit shorter. The Sabre LT also has cinch cords on the inside to help cinch the jacket around your waist to prevent any kind of cold air coming in. And the Rush IS also has the same thing. You have two cinch cords on the inside to cinch down the waist of your jacket as well. Now, both these jackets also feature a snow skirt. The snow skirt is integrated in, it's sewn in, but it also has these little buttons here that can integrate into Arcteryx ski pants. So if you have those, they can hook up nicely to that. Now, you don't need them because you do have this elastic and these buttons that can strap around. If you don't have Arcteryx pants, the ski skirt will still work. You have the same thing in the Rush IS. The ski skirt is integrated and sewn in, and you have the same kind of feature where they can go into Arcteryx pants if you do have them. So a nice little feature just to consider with that. Looking at a few additional features, just to point out, the Sabre LT does have nice logos that are embroidered. So you have the Arcteryx bird logo, the Arcteryx written logo on the hood, and then on the sleeve you do have this Gore-Tex logo. They're all embroidered, which really adds to a nice high quality feel. Now compare that to the Rush IS. You do have the Arcteryx bird logo that's printed, the Arcteryx word logo here that's printed, and then also on the sleeve the Gore-Tex here is also printed. For me personally, the embroidered is the way to go. The embroidered is a lot higher quality feel. I wish the Rush IS used those. Instead, they printed them on. My worry is that they can wear off. Now, Arcteryx did say if they do wear off, to send them in under the warranty and they will reprint them. So just something to keep in mind.
All right, so who won the jacket battle for me? For me, I have to go with the Arcteryx Rush IS. And the reason is because the pros outweigh the cons. So let's consider the first pro. The first pro obviously is the extra insulation that it has inside. So this is a nice feature because you can actually have nice insulation to keep you nice and warm rather than having extra layers. So if you're trying to go down on weight and you want to save by taking an extra layer, it's like this jacket already has a layer built in. So that's a pretty neat thing, and you're not having to pay too much more for that. Another pro about the Rush IS is that the pockets inside are also lined with that same insulation. So where the Sabre LT is just the shell, so if you put your hands inside without gloves, it's basically not going to keep you warm with the Sabre LT, but with the Rush IS, you have that insulation to keep you warm. Another pro about the Rush IS is it is a more comfortable jacket. It's softer to the feel, and it's not as crinkly as you move compared to the Sabre LT, where it's a lot more stiffer of a layer that you're having, and so that is something to consider. Much more flexible and comfortable to wear. Another pro about the Rush IS is it's way more breathable than the Sabre LT. Because you only have those two layers of the Gore-Tex with that really breathable insulation, it's a more breathable layer. So when you get hot, it's going to do a better job releasing heat. So that's something to consider. Another pro about the Rush IS is the vents on the sidearm actually have this mesh in between to protect the snow from getting into that insulation area. So that's a pretty cool thing, where the Sabre LT, you actually just have slits. So if you fall with it open, you're going to get snow going inside your jacket. Another pro about the Rush IS is the color selection and the patterns that the jacket have. I think it just looks a lot cooler than the Sabre LT. And you have this nice blue color that I have here. That was my favorite color out of all the selections that they had. And because this was the 2019 version, I was able to get it on a steep discount because this was a color that they were going to have on sale because they weren't going forward. But they do have a lot of other cool colors to look from. Another pro about the Rush IS is the fit. For me, the Sabre LT is pretty long, so when you're walking and going uphill and stuff, you can actually feel it
for me at least, hitting my thighs. And the Rush IS just fits me a lot better because it's not as long as the Sabre LT. Another pro is this jacket is kind of like 2-in-1. You do have that thin layer of insulation, but it's not overbearing to where you're gonna overheat very easily. It does a great job breathing as well, but keeps you nice and warm for on those colder days you just want an extra layer. You don't have to pack an extra layer because it has one already built in. So let's consider the cons. The first con for the Rush IS is it's gonna be the pricier of the options. So the Sabre LT, you can find those in their discontinued colors, such as this golden mine color that we had for the Sabre LT. And you can get those for about 480 bucks. So it's gonna be a lot cheaper than the Rush IS. Now, if you can find the Rush IS on sale, it's gonna be a great deal, but it is gonna be the pricier of the two jackets because it's kind of like a 2-in-1 jacket. You're getting extra insulation inside. Another con about the Rush IS is because of that extra layer, when you get warm days, it can get a little warm inside. And so you have to open the vents. It's not overbearing, it is nice and breathable, but it can feel a little warm because of that thin insulation. Another con about the Rush IS is just kind of a little bit with the versatility. If you do want to have more options as far as taking layers off or putting layers underneath, you are a little bit more limited with the Rush IS as opposed to just wearing a shell, because you do have that inner insulation. So just something to keep in mind. Another con about the Rush IS compared to the Sabre LT is going to be in the durability department. Because this is a 2-layer Gore-Tex as opposed to the 3 layers, it's going to be slightly less durable, but as a result, it will be a little bit more breathable and more comfortable. So something you just kind of have to deal with is the durability with the Rush IS. But you do have the Arcteryx warranty to keep in mind that you have to back it. So what did you think of these two jackets? Who won the jacket battle for you? Was it the Arcteryx Sabre LT or the Arcteryx Rush IS? Which one would you go with and why? Leave me a comment in the comments section. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe for more jacket battle content like this. And as always, thanks for watching.